चलो जी, प्रारंभ करें। चालू करें।
हाँ।
पीछे वो तो अभी ईयरफोन से लगा के बेटा आप गप्पा मारो, मैं अपना मस्त म्यूजिक सुनूंगी। क्या सुन क्या रही है? जस्टिन बीबर ऐसे कोई गाना होगा उसका?
बहुत अच्छा तुम भी
हाँ?
Acceptance sound like music.
He does. तो तू क्या सुनती है? टेलर स्विफ्ट?
नहीं One Direction. Never mind. Let's not try that one. Never mind. उसकी बात नहीं
एनएफ
करें.
क्या होता है?
The search करके सॉन्ग नहीं सुना इसीलिए
फिर जस्टिन बीबर सूड एलन डिजेनरेस.
हाँ?
जस्टिन बीबर ने एलन डिजेनरेस को सू किया फॉर मिसयूजिंग हिम एज अ चाइल्ड.
Sorry.
She is gay, right?
Yeah.
Hence proved that he is not a guy. चलो, करंट अफेयर्स क्या हुआ इस हफ्ते? लास्ट वीक तो कुछ था ही नहीं ना, so we got a lot of time. हाँ? Oh, so nice. Who the hell is Baba Siddiqui and why the heck do we care? तेरा ये चालू है, तेरा लाइट चालू है बे, फर्स्ट बेंच. हाँ. So why do we care that Baba Siddiqui is dead? हाँ? तो we care and not for the fact that वो उसने सलमान और शाहरुख के बीच में कॉम्प्रो करवाया है. The political कचरा न्यूज में भी मेरे को ज्यादा पता होता है तुम लोगों से. शेयर. You never heard of legendary Baba Siddiqui iftar parties and all the Khan compros which happen at that? Maria. चलो फिर तो बाबा से. And who's the supposed accused behind, not accused but suspect? And what is Lawrence Bishnoi famous for, or infamous for? Gangsters and supposed ties with whatever. The suspected ties are with a much bigger entity, but okay, let's not go there. What else? Jammu Kashmir has a new CM, and who's the new CM? उमर तो ऐसे बोल रहे हो जैसे चाचा का बेटा हो. चाचा के बेटे को ज्यादा रिस्पेक्ट शायद देते होंगे लोग यहाँ पे. एंड कौन सी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी है? जम्मू कश्मीर की कुछ ऑब्वियसली जम्मू कश्मीर में चेन्नई की तो पार्टी होगी नहीं. कुछ है. अनवेलिंग ऑफ न्यू स्टैच्यू बाय सीजे. न्यू स्टैच्यू ऑफ व्हाट?
The Lady Justice.
Lady Justice. The old lady's justice colonial statue is blindfold and talwar and stuff. Now justice is not blind का नया रूप दे रहे हैं. Okay. New postcard DG. Okay.
India is eliminated tricoma WTO ने declared tricoma disease.
So
WHO.
why should the World Trade Organization care about disease? The World Health Organization, headed by whom? Who's the head for WHO? Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, doctor. So who's the head? में यूएन कैसे भाई किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का हेड इंसान होएगा ना. अभी एआई उस हद तक पहुंचा नहीं है कि किसी नॉन ह्यूमन एंटिटी को चिपका दे एज द हेड. Okay, so trachoma has been declared. India has been declared free of trachoma by WHO. Okay, then अगर कुछ नया सुना है यार हर हफ्ते. अगर कंफर्म ना हो तो भी बोल देंगे तो भी कुछ ना कुछ तो होगा कि इसराइल और हमास ने कुछ किया है. हाँ, उसको टपका दिया. मेजर न्यूज है वो सुनाओ. ठीक है फिर व्हाट एल्स?
हमास के हेड.
आई थिंक हमास का कोई तो बिग टाइम या समथिंग समथिंग. हाँ, रतन टाटा गए. अभी थोड़ी इज्जत से बात करेंगे. रतन टाटा पास गए. वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट फिलैंथ्रोपिस्ट्स एंड ल्यूमिनरीज ऑफ इंडिया. आया गया चलेगा. रतन टाटा. हाँ, nobody gives a damn
Nobel Prizes.
except maybe the headphone वाले. हाँ, biggest one. The Nobel prizes have been announced. How many categories for the Nobel?
Peace. Peace.
So, who was the first Indian to win a Nobel Prize in mathematics?
There is no.
नहीं उसका अलग से
राम श्रीनिवास रमन.
Sir, trick question.
कभी कभी लोगों को सुन लेना चाहिए. There is no mathematics category in the Nobel Prize. और फिर भी लोगों को अभी भी शक होता है रामानुजन श्रीनिवासन वन द नोबेल प्राइज इन मैथमेटिक्स। ये भगवान, एक सेकंड, एक सेकंड। हाँ, भेज दिया मैंने वो पुराना वाले जीके वाला जो भी है। अरे पुराना वाला उठा लो यार, जीके करंट अफेयर्स वाला। हाँ, चलो फिर व्हाट नेक्स्ट?
Abhyuday Jindal, president of, named president of Indian Chamber of Commerce.
Indian Chamber of Commerce, but do you think that is very very relevant on just one single appointment?
President.
हाँ, बट हजार ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, ऐसे तो मेरे सूर्यकोटि अपार्टमेंट्स का भी जिसका प्रेसिडेंट होम ओनर्स एसोसिएशन का प्रेसिडेंट हूँ, nobody really gives a damn about that. हमसे हमारे साथ पंगे ले रहे थे बड़े मालदीव्स, झोला उठा के आ गए अभी। वेरी गुड। कौन है, कौन नमूना नाम?
Shashanka's visit to Hong Kong.
पाकिस्तान और शंघाई।
But what did that bring in? I didn't read any.
एक सेकेंड, अभी भी जवाब नहीं आया। व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ मुइजू और whatever that was? Okay, फिर
Trudeau admitted that he had no proof accusing India for the
पन्नू का जो इश्यू हो रहा था, nobody cares about that. हाँ, अभी तो जो इज्जत पहले मिलती थी एक जमाने को कनाडा को, वेरी सैड। व्हाट एल्स? हाँ, आसियान, एसोसिएशन ऑफ साउथ ईस्ट एशियन नेशंस, आसियान। एशियन बोलेंगे तो लगेगा कि वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट, नहीं जोर से बोलो तो बाकी सभी सुन ले, क्योंकि हम तो हमारी बकचोदी कोई काम की है नहीं। आपका डिस्कशन इज वे मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन द अदर 40 पीपल इन द क्लास। हाँ, सो आसियान, एसोसिएशन ऑफ साउथ ईस्ट एशियन नेशंस, उसका क्या हुआ? समिट हुए एंड फिर कुछ। वैसे तो अभी G20 भी होने, ब्रिक्स भी होने वाला है।
16th
G20 तो हर साल ही होता है। 16th summit,
16th summit,
BRICS का।
22 to 23 in
हाँ।
Russia.
रशिया जाएंगे अपने अपने तो नहीं जाएंगे, चाचा जाएंगे। चलो, let's see what we have. So the Nobel prizes, right? 6 categories: physics, chemistry, biology. पहले 3 साइंसेस ले लेते हैं, physics, chemistry, biology, economics, literature and peace. So the winners for physics are John Hopfield and Geoffrey Hinton. Which Indian won for physics? First one, Sir C.V. Raman. Okay. So John Hopfield and Geoffrey Hinton for physics. Chemistry के लिए David Baker, Demis Hassabis and John Jumper. पढ़ लो, अगर समझ में आए तो याद रख लेना, आधे टाइम तो समझ में भी नहीं आएगा।
Super asymmetry.
हाँ,
Super asymmetry.
नहीं समझ में आएगा।
वो तो शेल्डन और इसको मिला था ना, ये भी आधों को समझ में नहीं आया होगा। नोट्स ले रहे होंगे, डॉक्टर शेल्डन एंड डॉक्टर फैरा फाउलर वन द बिग बैंग थियरी की बात चल रही है। तेरे को समझ में आ गया, आधी क्लास नहीं समझ में आया होगा, वो सीरियसली नोट्स ले रहे होंगे। ओके, नेक्स्ट, मेडिसिन और फिजियोलॉजी इज विक्टर एम्ब्रोस एंड गैरी रूकन।
क्वेश्चन केमिस्ट्री में किसी इंडियन को मिला नहीं। बेटा मिला तो लिख लीजिए।
वैसे आई वुड हैव द लिस्ट नेक्स्ट, ऑल इंडियंस। I don't know whether it would be considered as pure Indian or person of Indian origin. What did Chandrasekhar win for? Physics or no? Chandrasekhar was not even chemistry. Or was it chemistry? Let's check. Anyway. Prithvi, send me the doubt on the app wala chat. I'll send. Legal का doubt legal की class में लेंगे. Physiology and medicine. Okay. Literature, Han Kang.
The Nobel can be
Writer.
maths shared by 3 people, right?
Huh?
Nobel can be shared by 3 people, right?
3 से ज्यादा कभी सुना नहीं है, so I'm presuming there might be. There's also one thing that Nobel cannot be awarded posthumously after death.
Yeah.
That's why Mahatma Gandhi never received the Nobel Prize for peace. He was nominated a few times. Finally, 1948 में it was almost sure that he would be getting the Nobel Prize. But then 30th Jan 1948 he was shot dead. And the Nobels cannot be awarded posthumously. So the biggest omission which the Nobel Committee has accepted is that the biggest non-recipient is Mahatma Gandhi. So who received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1948? They could not award it to Mahatma Gandhi. So they declared no award of peace will be given that year in his memory. So in 1948, nobody received the Peace Prize because the only person they judged capable or competent enough to receive it did not live. Okay. Next, for peace, this year it is Nihon Hidan Kyo. Peace is Nihon Hidan Kyo. And for economics, it is Darren Asimoglu, Simon Johnson, and James A. Robinson. And Kang, if I'm not mistaken, is a female. Huh?
कोई book है क्या? She.
Poems and stuff, I guess. Poems. I did some sort of research. I think Korean, if I'm not mistaken. There's no chance that Archer would ever receive Nobel for literature. Although I would love his writings. One of the first writers I ever read. Not a penny more, not a penny less was the first full-length novel which I read. Bachpan mein.
The Clifton Zone was the first series
Awesome.
after Harry Potter.
Awesome. But Jeffrey Archer, because popular writers will never win the Nobel. And Nobel type writings, most people won't be reading.
Point of, I've never heard of a lot of authors, but I've never heard of whoever this person is.
So the type of Nobel, the criteria for receiving the Nobels is not just something more than quality of writing, which is obviously is a given. It's about what impact they have on society and stuff. So just providing entertainment to people is not necessarily having impact on lives of people. By the way, the first Indian to win for literature, Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, so the Indian winners, obviously, Rabindranath Tagore for literature, Sir C.V. Raman for physics. Literally, I think answered the question, Asman Neela kyun hota hai? Scattering of light. Mother Teresa for peace, very controversial, but huh? All these are Indians. I mean, she had Indian citizenship. She was basically Albanian. Agnes Bongshaus was her real name, but then she settled in India and long term, so Indian nationality. Then Dr. Amartya Sen for economics. His daughter is more famous and well known. Not her award, herself. She herself.
Said that she baptized him.
Amartya Sen's daughter is more famous than him, at least among the younger generation. Any idea who his daughter is? Not Sushmita Sen.
Anu.
Okay, so not so popular these days. Ever heard of Nandana Sen? You can Google. Famous actress. Okay, Kailash Satyarthi for peace. Kailash Satyarthi, he actually shared the Nobel that year with somebody. Again, a very controversial person in certain parts of the world. With whom did Kailash Satyarthi share the peace prize, Nobel? That's the sad thing. The person who was awarded along with him for peace is very well known. And because of that, Kailash's name became very unknown, sadly, among even Indians. Now, when Nelson Mandela was ages back, this was a few years back. Without Googling. अगर country बोल दूंगा तो पता चल जाएगा पाकिस्तान से.
Malala Yousafzai.
Kailash Satyarthi and Malala Yousafzai got the Nobel Prize together for two different things. Kailash Satyarthi was basically fighting for the cause of child trafficking. Okay. And some other Indians, but not necessarily of Indian passport citizenship, but of Indian origin. So Dr. Hargobind Khurana got it for physiology or medicine. His particular work with genetics, I believe. Dr. Subramaniam Shekhar was for physics. So, like I said, I was not sure whether he's an Indian. So, Venkatraman Ramakrishnan, he got for chemistry, but he's only of Indian origin. His citizenship is, I think, US. Then, very recently, Abhijit Banerjee got it for economics. So where are the Nobel Prizes awarded? Which place on planet Earth?
Stockholm syndrome.
So syndrome to by
Stockholm.
the place is Stockholm. And you know what is it is Stockholm. And you know what is the Stockholm syndrome?
Yeah, it's basically when you fall in love with the kidnapper. It's a psychological.
It's a psychological term,
Stockholm.
but the place is Stockholm. Okay.
Right.
What is the origin of the Nobel Prizes?
No.
Who was Alfred Nobel?
He was a scientist.
Explosives and
Actually,
stuff.
yeah, he read about explosives
He
and
was
had
an
a very
inventor
famous
who
dad.
experimented extensively
बिना
with
पढ़े
explosives.
पढ़ के तो यार मैं कुछ में गीता का ज्ञान दे दूं तुमको.
He had a very famous dad who worked with explosives and then he got, but he was very lonely.
He basically was the inventor of dynamite. He was basically the inventor of dynamite. And because of the boom boom and a lot of destruction, he said, okay, let me initiate certain prizes. So initiated for certain things. And then it got added. I think economics was added much later. But so the 6 categories in which the Nobel Prizes are now awarded, we have already seen them, right? And इसका related CLAT में already एक बार passage आ चुका है कुछ साल पहले, based on the Nobels.
Yet, too rich.
Okay. The Anaconda strategy. Any guesses? Either who is doing it or what the strategy could be?
China.
Yeah, but anaconda is
US.
snake. Anaconda
Yeah.
is a snake.
पहले
Yeah.
guess के साथ चिपक
Okay,
चिपके
China.
हैं.
Yeah.
It is Chinese.
Snake, China.
So first of all, do you know what the anaconda is famous for?
Yeah, it's very
It's
big.
Size.
It's
It's size.
deadly.
Deadly.
It's famous for its behavior. It belongs to a family of reptiles called the constrictors, where it is a type of snake that is not poisonous or venomous. What it does is it just wraps its own body around the victim and squeezes it. Right? It constricts the body, and that's how it squeezes out the life. So the anaconda strategy technically would be to put pressure on somebody slowly and steadily to cause loss to them. So there are tensions between China and Taiwan. And now China is using a military strategy called the Anaconda strategy, where dhire, and China will start putting pressure, or already it has started putting pressure on Taiwan from all sides, such that Taiwan will not be able to move or take any actions. So the way China is doing it right now is it is just increasing its military presence around the island of Taiwan.
China was doing grey war tactics, but India ke saath
Last time we talked about
Yeah.
that. Where attacks like crypto attacks, digital cyber attacks, and all that stuff.
इसके just ungli करो.
इतना भी मत करो कि सामने वाला भड़क के तलवार निकाले, बट इतना जरूर करो कि खुजली हो उसको. So anaconda is effectively, so what is technically the anaconda strategy? It's a slow squeezing tactic, similar to how anaconda snake wraps around its prey before striking. So instead of launching an immediate attack, it slowly and very slowly surrounds Taiwan. And through military drills and psychological pressure, it will weaken the defenses. You just keep practicing with a lot of weapons. You just keep experimenting with your bombs. So it puts a psychological pressure on the other person. So the way it increases the military pressure is that the aircrafts keep flying near Taiwan's airspace, increased by more than 5 times. And the number of Chinese naval ships has doubled.
Doesn't break any war laws.
Okay, but
Just go to the level of almost there and stop.
Grey warfare is क्या difference है?
Grey warfare, this is directly using military tactics to put pressure. Grey warfare, it's not military at all. It's things like digital warfare and all that thing. So this is direct. This is a military action that is using civilians or at least non-direct military players. They put different pressures. वो infrastructure पर attack होता है. ये mindset का attack है, psychological warfare है. Done. Anaconda strategy. The strategy plan, same thing.
Does UN recognize the Security Council peace
What?
Anaconda strategy?
Recognize that it's a valid strategy.
No, recognize that China is doing it and it needs to be stopped. China is.
Oh, hold on. First of all, why does it need to be stopped as long as I'm not breaking a law?
Yeah, that.
The first thing is, am I breaking a law? As long as I'm not breaking a law, I can do anything. So if I directly show aggression or attack somebody, so it's problematic. That's why they're using all these techniques. Grey warfare की बात करो, anaconda strategy की बात करो. हम तो, if the moment you say why are you doing it, हमने तो अपने practice के लिए किया है. Supposing today राजस्थान border पे जाके इंडियन आर्मी के पूरे रॉकेट ड्रिल्स करूं, कैन पाकिस्तान कंप्लेन अगेंस्ट मी? मैं तो अपना टेस्टिंग कर रहा हूँ, बट राइट बॉर्डर पे जाके मैं अपने सारे प्लेन्स वहां पे रखता हूँ, सब कुछ रखता हूँ, बट रखता तो अपनी जमीन पे रहा हूँ. So everybody knows what I'm doing, but legally I can still get away with it. Okay, Ratan Tata, sad, renowned business tycoon, passes away at 86. His major achievements include taking the Tata Group's profits by 50 times. And internationally, certain brands like Jaguar and Land Rover and Tetley is for tea, British brands taken over simply by the Tata Group. And even in India, a lot of his products are used in day-to-day lives. I mean, you think about an activity and Tata ka kahin na kahin usme naam hoga. Right from salt in our households to vehicles on the road and infrastructure and everything. In fact, even in the IT industry, TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, is one of the largest firms in India. Goes without saying. आधी चीजें तो पता भी नहीं होती, and they belong to Tata Group. Taj Group of Hotels.
Studio, West Side.
Lot of
Titan.
Zara.
them.
Thank you for Starbucks.
Okay. No, that is one thing which I have done. It's a JV. It isn't. They don't own it. It's a JV.
It's like
At least they are.
Zara is also not owned by Tata. Okay. Saudi Arabia denied a seat on UN Human Rights Council. इसमें हो क्या है? You thought Saudi Arabia would get a seat on the United Nations Council on human rights? Saudi Arabia, human rights. Same sentence.
No, I agree, but the French will do something.
हाँ तो करो जितनी उंगली करनी हो. US better. हाँ, कुछ मामलों में it is good to have a bully on the board. Saudi Arabia tried to win a seat on the Human Rights Council, but came in 6th place. उसके आगे के 5 निकल गए, ये 6ठे place पे आया. Very good. So during the vote, 5 countries, Cyprus, Marshall Islands, Qatar, South Korea, and Thailand got in. Qatar. Marshall Islands.
Thailand.
Thailand तो has a lot of human rights.
Yes.
Because there are humans. Male, female को guarantee नहीं, but humans. So Thailand is humans. It's safe to call somebody a human in Thailand because you are never sure whether it's a male or a female. But, right. And they help in so much of human development.
Sure, they do.
Okay. By not having Saudi Arabia on the seat, it shows that many countries are concerned about the way human rights are handled there under Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Saudi
His
Arabia has been.
daughter- Yeah, his daughter ran away. I mean, एक daughter he has lots. And she posted a video and everything. Ki, I had to run away because of this, and then they got it taken down, and then they got her kidnapped and deported to South. His own daughter and that's what I've heard. ये YouTube पर नहीं जा रहा ना. They will find me.
Everything is recorded. Everything is recorded. Everything goes on YouTube. चांस ही नहीं. अभी मैंने कुछ नहीं बोला. जय श्री क्राउन प्रिंस. सब इसने बोला जो बोला है. हो गया ये? That sounds very wrong, right? Jai Shri Krishna. Okay. चलो आगे बढ़े। अरे बढ़े हैं।
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically from this, what is the United Nations Human Rights Council? It was created in 2006, and that was previously just the Human Rights Commission. It replaced the Human Rights Commission. Currently, it has 47 member states, and the term for the membership is 3 years. Each term is for 3 years. What it does, it monitors and addresses human rights violations across the world. And what it does is it publishes something called the Universal Periodic Review, where whoever is a member state of UN, the human rights of how the country is maintaining human rights in their own part of the world, it's all recorded and monitored, assessed regularly. And if there is any urgent human rights crisis, then UNHRC can call for special sessions, headquarters and Geneva, and all the funding is voluntary. And दूध के धुले नहीं है, many of the official members have been accused of violating human rights from time to time. Done? Okay. हुई गवाह, आगे बढ़े। Okay. Global Hunger Index 2024. According to this index, India falls under the serious category. मम्मी जो बोलती है कि खाना वेस्ट नहीं करने का,
Serious.
तो रिमेंबर वी आर अंडर द सीरियस कैटेगरी, हमारे वहां खाने ही नहीं है.
Bajrang Superman.
This index was released by the Irish humanitarian organization Concern Worldwide and the German aid agency, don't even try to pronounce it. Okay. Welthungerhilfe. So what were the key findings about this report? We are 105th out of 127th country. अच्छा है.
22 के तो आगे.
22 countries से आगे.
It's sad.
And our other nations in the
Pakistan-
category is Pakistan and Afghanistan.
हमसे आगे के पीछे है.
मेरे साथ साथ हैं, हम साथ साथ हैं.
Doesn't matter, हम सेम कैटेगरी में हैं. हम भी भूखे नंगे, नंगों का पता नहीं, भूखे हम भी हैं.
Us.
I don't even know what is their criteria for this. But many a times these world indices are very, very messed up in their criteria because they are very Western centric.
अभी कौन सा रिलीज हुआ? Guinness Index में कौन सा देखा? Where हाँ मीडिया वाला, the freedom of press, we ranked under Afghanistan and Qatar.
Okay. Since 2000, our GHI score, Global Index score is actually falling. But child wasting and stunting remains very high. So child wasting does not mean बच्चों का. In medical terms, wasting away is when you keep losing a lot of weight. You keep falling sick and you keep losing a lot of weight. That is known as a person is wasting away, right? When their physical fitness goes down, they suffer from a lot of diseases and they lose weight. So child wasting and stunting, that is proper growth, does not take place. Because child wasting and stunting is very high. I don't know whether that is because actual lack of nutrition or just people want to remain thin for Instagram, but then maternal malnutrition, because the mother does not have enough nutrition, then automatically the nutrition for a newborn child is not enough. This causes intergenerational cycle of poor nutritional status. Their words, not mine. माँ को खाना नहीं मिलता, बच्चे को नहीं मिलता, बच्चे भूखे प्यासे, इसलिए इंडिया बहुत गरीब है. Could be true. But I think there is a problem with this. Let me see if I put that up. ये हो गया? Okay. Now, basically, this global hunger index is measuring and tracking hunger at a global, regional, and national level. Worldwide क्या scene है, continent wise, region wise क्या scene है, and country wise क्या scene है. It designs that. And there are 4 indicators to calculate the value. How do they calculate it? So one is undernourishment, child stunting, child wasting, and child mortality. Undernourishment, enough calories are not available. Stunting, low height under age 5. Wasting, low weight under age 5. And mortality, death before 5th birthday.
ये release कौन करता है?
Irish and German organizations, भाई साहब,
It's a private.
literally मैंने नाम दिया हुआ है. Now, can anybody spot the problem with this index? It's all related to children. So then calling it a global hunger index makes you think that they're talking about the entire population. But if you're basing all your studies only on children, then it cannot be called a general global hunger index. Global children hunger index or something like that, if the name is, then fine. Varna, it is very, very misleading, right? So 3 out of the 4 indicators that you're using are for children, and that cannot represent the entire population. And again, stunting, if you are using that as an indicator of bad nutrition, then that is not good, because even in countries where a lot of food is generally available, stunting can occur. It's a genetic thing, not necessarily related to nutrition. So experts are saying that the way you're calculating, one, is biased towards children, and second, even one of those parameters is not necessarily a good parameter of identifying bad nutrition. And then they're using old data to calculate. In short, bakwas hai. आगे बढ़े. Okay. ISRO targets to launch Venus mission in March 28 for a 112-day journey to the planet Venus.
It's the hottest planet.
Yeah. But does it say a manned mission?
It's still, what if the parts won't burn away? The
Huh?
proper distance over the parts won't burn.
भाई हम लिटरली सूरज पे भेज रहे हैं चीजें. वीनस सूरज जितना तो गर्म ही नहीं होएगा. But see, I don't understand what is the problem with sending things. रात को भेजो ना, कम गर्मी होती है.
Good luck.
What?
Human.
Bad jokes. Okay, so the Venus Orbiter mission, named creatively and similarly to the Mars Orbiter mission or MOM. Yeah, the Mars Orbiter
I
mission
know.
was called MOM. So now they have decided to use the same thing, calling it WOM.
Wow. Venus is wrong.
उसका IT department क्या होगा?
I was thinking IT के लिए क्या नाम रखूं, IT के लिए क्या रखूं, and he came up before it. So the Venus Orbiter mission का IT department will be known as. Okay. So 112 days to reach Venus. Hopefully we'll be doing it in March 2028. The launch vehicle will be the Mark 3 LVM-3. The objective is to examine dust in Venusian atmosphere, air glow, map its topography, study X-ray spectrum, and subsurface characteristics, all scientific stuff. We'll also be demonstrating some technologies like aerobraking, thermal management techniques, and 19 payloads, 19 different instruments or tech pieces will be there. 16 will be Indian, 2 Indian and international collaborative, and 1 purely international. Everybody pay taxes and? Yeah.
These are called bad jokes.
Done?
Bad jokes.
आगे बढ़ें जी. Okay. Abetment of suicide. Recently, the Supreme Court has interpreted the crime of abetment of suicide and it has determined the criteria of how to decide whether the person is actually guilty. So basically, abetment of suicide under IPC 306 is now under 108 of BNS. The punishment for this crime is up to 10 years of imprisonment and a fine. Now, Section 45 of BNS says abetment when a person either instigates someone to commit an act, conspires with others to do something leading to an illegal act or omission, or intentionally aids in its execution. To abet someone is to help someone. Abetment is assisting.
तो रस्सी
So
बेचो
abetment of suicide basically means when you do something which leads to the suicide of a person. So let's understand it. One, if you are selling rope to somebody, are you instigating the person to commit the act?
you're eating
Okay, hold on. Are you conspiring with others to do the act? Or are you intentionally aiding in its execution? The word intention is important. Somebody comes up to your दुकान and says मेरे को रस्सी दो, तो आप बोलोगे रस्सी ये ले जा, मुझे क्या पता क्या करना है, बोलता है मेरे को फांसी पे लटकना है, रस्सी दो,
तो
अगर
then you cannot,
if they're
because then you know the intention.
सर खरीदते टाइम बोल रहे हैं इंसान की ऐसी रस्सी दो जो पूरे इंसान का वेट झेल सके फॉर
हाँ।
लॉन्ग टाइम
हाँ.
हिंट तो मिल जाती है रस्सी वाले को
So that
तो वैसे निकल
so now it depends on the lawyer how you argue the case. It's an arguable
कोई
case.
देख रहा हो किसी को पीछना होता
हाँ. माउंटेनियरिंग करना है बंदे को.
वैसे निकलना है तो
किसी का कम्युनिकेशन मतलब कैंसिल आउट कर दो, उसको घर में बंद करके रखो,
हाँ.
फ्रस्ट्रेट होकर सुसाइड करे तो
तेरी अगर मम्मी तेरे को पढ़ाई ना करने के लिए घर में बंद करके जा रही है तो तू सुसाइड कर ले तो मम्मी रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं है. If that is your concern. अच्छा, हाँ तो बोला के. Somebody locks me in the house.
ऐसे लाइक इलीगली इम्प्रिजन किया हुआ किसी को तो वो बोलता है।
हाँ. Hold on.
स्टेबिलिटी थोड़ी कम हो,
मेरी. Let's assume that I'm the victim. Okay, my mental stability is low. Okay.
pay that much attention to you,
Okay.
then they cancel their communication. So
फोन ले लेते हैं. Okay. And what was the intention? What was the intention behind it? Why did they do it? Because take a look at it. Take a look at it. Did they instigate me to commit the act? Did they provoke me to do it? Second, did they conspire with others to do something leading to the illegal act or omission? Or did they intentionally aid in the execution of my suicide? If the lawyer can prove any one of these three conditions, then they would be guilty of abetment of suicide. But so here, intention hugely matters. And like I said, no question ever has a one direct answer. Every case is different. It depends on the nuances of the case to decide whether it is applicable or not.
if you want someone to fight your case after you die जेल में लॉयर के लिए पैसे छोड़ के जाने को
hey, who want to
I guess so. I guess so.
या
तू
तो
बोलेगा ये राम जेठमलानी should fight my case मुफ्त में. राम बोलेगा मारे कितना टका. लड़
या तो
मारे जा.
डिसेंडेंट्स पैसे देंगे
हाँ?
डिसेंडेंट्स पैसे देंगे अगर
बढ़िया है. तो मैं अपने बच्चे के इस पे इतना बड़ा ये ठोक के चला जाऊंगा, मरते रहे जी भर की. If I don't like my kids. तो डिसेंडेंट्स मैं तो तेरे नाम का कर दूंगा कि he is going to pay all my legal bills. Okay. So what is the Supreme Court's interpretation of this particular thing? The offense requires direct and alarming encouragement or incitement that leaves no option but the fatal step. Whatever you did which led to the suicide should be of such grave nature that the person had no option other than to do suicide. Tu marna is not enough as abetment, because that does not mean I don't have an option. वरना मैं तो जनरली बोलते रहता हूँ तुम लोगों को कि रस्सी में लटक जाओ. अब तुम लटक गए तो मैं थोड़ी ना अबेटमेंट के गिल्टी होऊंगा. हाँ
बहुत ही सेंसिटिव पर्सन है
हाँ
और सपोज एक रिलेशनशिप में
हाँ.
और
बोल. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एज ए जस्टिस आई वुड से अच्छा हुआ. डार्विनियन थियरी, वी डोंट नीड सच पीपल टू सर्वाइव. अच्छा हुआ मरा. आगे बोल.
एकदम बोला कि जाके मर जाओ और वो क्वाइट लिटरली जाके मर जाओ.
No option but, was there no option but fatal step in for a rational person? That case is never individual. It's always what would a rational person do? For a rational person, was there literally no other step? नहीं, अच्छा हुआ मरा। साला बच्चे पैदा करेगा, जीन को खराब करेगा, अच्छा हुआ मर गया। हैं?
Gotcha.
I will ignore that. The court laid down following guidelines to determine whether a situation involved unbearable harassment or emotional exploitation that drove the deceased to suicide, which means one, the accused created unbearable harassment or torture, leading the victim to view suicide as the only escape. Second, the accused exploited the victim's emotional vulnerability, making them feel worthless or undeserving of life. The accused threatened harm to the victim's family or caused financial ruin. The accused made false allegations that damaged the victim's reputation, leading to public humiliation and loss of dignity. So, even the interpretation has been done by the Supreme Court of what exactly do we mean by abetment. So, if you are able to prove to the satisfaction of the court that at least one of these things has happened, then that person will be deemed guilty of abetment of suicide. By the way, even attempt to suicide was considered a criminal offense, but it was decriminalized many years back. Attempt to suicide is no longer considered a criminal offense, but abetment to suicide definitely is.
Dies in jail. Commits suicide in jail.
In jail. Okay.
So, there were things that like there were his mates were bullying him.
Ah.
There were bullies from the police side as well.
Okay. Would
that be if proven, that would that be considered as a
Why is it any different from a civilian case? How is it any different from a civilian regular case? Just because a prisoner is imprisoned, does that mean basic human rights are not available to that person? So what difference does it make that he's a prisoner and not a free citizen? Does not make any difference. The same laws apply. Laws do not change just because your basic rights still remain intact even though you're in prison. Okay. क्या वो सब डिस्कस कर रहे हैं क्या सुसाइड किसको करवाएं और कैसे बच जाएं? चलो. Prime Minister's internship scheme. All you guys are going to go into internships in about a year or two from now. When you go to college, internships will be the biggest thing that you will be matha pachiing for. So you better know about this. You know what an internship is, right?
Yes.
What is an internship?
Mainly for work experience.
Exploitation.
It's called unpaid labor. That's the right word, exploitation. But huh? Yeah, where you pay the company to give you an internship. Right?
Not the company.
I know because I got paid pretty good for my internship. But okay. So the internship scheme, it aims to provide students with internship opportunities to take care of youth unemployment. It is to provide internships to about 1 crore young people in the next 5 years.
be one of those.
Next 5 years के अंदर 1 crore people will be benefited. 1 crore youth will be benefited. You will get a monthly stipend of 4,500 from the government and 500 from the company as part of that. महीने के 5,000 रुपए इंटर्नशिप के लिए और कितना चाहिए बे पैसा तेरे को?
मेरे भाई को 150
क्या 150 रुपया? तो
$1,50,000
as internship stipend कहाँ से कर रहा है भाई?
एक्सेल
जमशेदपुर? यार मेरे को भी करना चाहिए फिर एक्सेलर से. नहीं but ऐसा नहीं. Even my thing was similar 20 years back.
आपने कहाँ से करा?
भारतीय प्रौद्योगिकी संस्थान.
But then again, IIT Madras
is the place where I did my
Right.
MBA from. Okay. And a one-time grant of 6,000 will be provided upon enrollment, along with insurance coverage under PM Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana and PM Suraksha Bima Yojana. So basically, yeah, a lot of internships which you guys will be doing in first of all, XLR postgraduate कर रहे हैं ना? Undergraduate पे नहीं मिलता है. Post graduation पे stipend अच्छी होती है. Undergraduate level पे तो sometimes companies charge you money just to give you an internship. Most of them are zero. They won't charge, but they won't pay you anything.
कंपनी को पैसा दे रहे हो कुछ का
Huh?
कंपनी को पैसा दे रहे हो
Because postgraduate students still have some skills. Undergraduate students को सीट गर्म करने के अलावा कौन सा स्किल आता है? So they are wasting their time and energy on you. हाँ? तो हायर उसी के लिए करते हैं. तो हायर भी होता है उसी के लिए. अंडरग्रेजुएट इंटर्नशिप का काम ही होता है चाय लेके आना, जेरोक्स कॉपीज करना, स्टेपल करना। ये तो गरीमत मांगो झाड़ू नहीं मरवाते कई जगहों पे।
डरा रही हो यार।
हाँ?
नहीं, सर,
आप
सच बोल
motivate
रहा है।
कर रही हो, डरा रही हो।
सच बोल रहा है।
सच बोल रहा हूँ। But before you get too excited, let us understand the eligibility criteria.
Okay.
Your age should be between 21 and 24. It's okay. Undergraduate नहीं तो post graduate level पे internship कब का है, and even 5 year law वालों का तो 21 will be middle of the thing. तो internship तो हर 5 साल में होगा. So between 21 and 24 it's okay. You should be at least 10th class pass.
Okay.
And if you are from an IIT, IIM or have a professional qualification like a CA, you are not included.
हाँ, तो
So if you manage to get into NLUs or something, then this scheme is not for you. It is for other institutes. तो दो चीजें हैं. If you get into a good institute, very good. If you don't, you still have the PM internship scheme working for
5,000.
you with 5,000 rupees per month. You must not be in full-time employment to be eligible for this scheme. साला नौकरी भी कर रहे हो, internship भी कर रहे हो, ऐसे नहीं चलता. Your family income must not be more than 8 lakh rupees per annum.
कोई चांस नहीं।
सर मेरा बाप तो इतना दिन में छापता है, बेटा अंबानी के लिए नहीं है ये. And if you are a government employee, anyway you are not eligible. सर गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय के फैमिली मेंबर ऑलरेडी 1000 फायदे हैं तुम्हारे.
क्या
वो लाल बत्ती
गिनाना चालू करूंगा खून के आंसू रोएंगी. Okay. So you see everybody has lost interest. BPL के लिए,
फॉरवर्ड
BPL के लिए, अपने लिए नहीं है.
ये फर्क है।
नेक्स्ट टॉपिक
आगे बढ़ते हैं। हमारे लिए क्या है?
Telangana is beginning sub-categorizations of
ये
scheduled castes.
एक सेकंड, जेन्युइन क्वेश्चन, इससे रिजर्वेशन बढ़ेगा? रिजर्वेशन पे क्या बढ़ेगा?
नहीं.
See,
एक रहेगा ना।
what happens is that, hold on. Do you know what is the concept of NCL and CL in OBCs?
नॉन
So there are even within categories, there are things called creamy layers and non-creamy layers. So if you belong to a certain category because of your caste or something, but if your income is above a certain level, then you cannot be considered an oppressed person. So then there is a categorization called creamy layers and non-creamy layers, where if you belong to the creamy layer, even if it is a reserved category, you're not eligible for the reservation benefit. You have to belong to the non-creamy layer of the reserved caste to be eligible for the benefit, which makes sense to some extent. So I think even categorization into categories is to make sure that the actual person who needs is the person who gets it. Now, just because my surname is something automatically makes me eligible for a reservation, which technically is wrong. So further categorization maybe could help. Whether it's going to increase or decrease, we don't know. But at least it's an attempt to make sure that the benefit goes to the right person on genuine criteria and not some just name type criteria. So there are 4 categories A, B, C, D under which they're going to put. Now, already the Supreme Court has had a landmark judgment which grants states the authority to sub-classify these categories for reservation. What it said in the Punjab and Haryana High Court is that states under Article 14 can classify them depending on the level of backwardness. Depending on how backward a specific community is, they'll be categorized as A, B, C, D categories. So the creamy layer principle, which was only for OBCs, is now applicable even for SC and ST categories. So if you belong to an OBC category, then in addition to your OBC certificate, you had to provide a non-creamy layer certificate to be eligible. That thing was not there in SC/STs. If you are SC/ST, by default, you're eligible. Now the concept of creamy versus non-creamy layer is going to be included.
क्रीमी क्यों बोलते हैं?
All over India.
Hopefully. Huh?
क्रीमी क्यों बोलते हैं?
Cream is premium.
ज्यादा इनकम.
Malai versus Dhulai.
Okay.
And it also held that reservations are applicable solely to the first generation. If a person in a family has already had the benefit of reservation, उनके आगे वाली पुश्तों को बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा.
बट सर फिर एक एक इंडिविजुअल के लिए बहुत चेक नहीं करना पड़ेगा.
हाँ,
एकदम चेक नहीं करना पड़ेगा एक एक
क्या?
इंडिविजुअल के लिए
क्या चेक करना पड़ेगा?
कोई जनरेशन को मिला कि नहीं मिला.
सो एक्स पोस्ट फैक्टो ही होगा ना. अब जब से आप they can't put it in the past, right? From now onwards it will be something like that. Most probably they'll have to do it, otherwise it becomes तकलीफ. चलो आगे बढ़े. ऐसा सन्नाटा छा गया है यहाँ पे. वेरी गुड. स्पेस बेस्ड सर्वेलेंस मिशन, as if drones were not enough, अभी स्पेस से स्पाइंग होगा. Not that we were not aware of it because Batman has been doing it for ages. But the Cabinet Committee on Security has approved phase 3 of space-based surveillance mission, which will have better land and maritime awareness for both civilian and military applications. At least 52 satellites in low Earth orbit and geostationary orbits will be used. 21 satellites will be built by ISRO, 31 by private companies. And this is being handled by the National Security Council Secretariat and the Defense Space Agency under the Ministry of Defense. And all the three armed forces, Army, Navy, and Air Force, will have dedicated or specific satellites for land, sea, or air-based missions. So now even satellites से surveillance चलेगा. कल एक बात कर रहे थे CCTV cameras की. What does CCTV camera stand for?
बी से विजन होगा.
तो T से टेली होगा, तो टीवी तो टेलीविजन ही है. You are not wrong, it is television. But what is CC? Surveillance S से होता है. This is CC.
Control.
So CCTV is closed circuit television because it does not come from outside. CCTV is only for a limited area. It is only within that circuit that the videos go. Videos doesn't go outside that network. So it's called a closed circuit television, CCTV. Okay, this one done. आगे बढ़े. Okay. Meta launches scam से बचो safety campaign in India. तेरे को तो लगा scam के बच्चे. Basically, along with the Indian government, Meta has launched a safety campaign for 2 months where people will be taught or helped on how to avoid online scams. This is along with the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, the Ministry of Home Affairs, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Cybercrime Coordination Center. And the objective is 1, raise awareness about online scams and frauds, provide citizens with tools and knowledge to stay safe online, and promote a culture of caution so that people are more aware of cyber threats. Has anybody ever received a scam call?
Yeah.
कौन से टाइप के?
हाँ, बंदा बोल रहे थे, तो पैसे लेने के लिए कि मैं पेमेंट कर रहा हूँ,
हाँ.
आपके जीपे में आएगा,
हाँ.
जीपे में रिक्वेस्ट आ रहा है.
मेरे पापा के नाम से कि उन्होंने बोला है मेरे अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर करना.
हाँ.
मैं आपको लिंक भेजता हूँ तब आप मुझे.
लेकिन आते तो सामने पत्ते में बहुत मजा आया.
मेरे को कुछ आया था. आपका एक पार्सल नारकोटिक्स डिपार्टमेंट कस्टम्स में पड़ा है. बहुत कॉमन है ये वाला. पहले आपका ट्रैकिंग नंबर ये है, मैं या बग रहा हूँ, मेरा नंबर है 1234. कम से कम नंबर तो कोई अच्छा यूज कर लेता. आधे घंटे तक खपाई उसकी मैंने. ओ कैसा कैसा गाली देके बंद किया आधे घंटे.
The same situation happened to me and the country was that कि मेरे चाचू ने भी जर्मनी से मेरे लिए कुछ भेजा था.
एक्चुअली भेजा था.
हाँ एक्चुअली
तो थोड़ा टेंशन हो गया होगा, चाचू ऐसा तो क्या भेज दिया तुमने, मालवाल भेजा क्या?
मेरे पापा को बोला कि चाचू ने कंफर्म करा. चाचू ने बोला अभी निकला ही नहीं है.
हाँ. और ये तो ऐसा बक 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 करेंगे. फेडेक्स में से आया, मैं आपको लिंक भेज रहा हूँ. मैं आधे घंटे तक खपाया, फिर मस्त माँ की गाली देके बंद किया. हाँ,
क्लास में आपको कुछ फोन आया था?
वो तो रेगुलर कॉल से, हाँ मेरे को क्रेडिट कार्ड भी आपको सर 10 लाख का अप्रूव्ड है. 10 लाख मुफ्त में दे रही हो तो बोल, पैसे वापस नहीं करूंगा मैं. ऐसे कैसे? तू ही दे रही, मैं तो नहीं मांग रहा था. my work, it's not a scam or anything. The worst is, I hope you know that when they collect your number for all these entrance exams, कहीं ना कहीं से डेटा लीक होकर यूनिवर्सिटीज को मिल जाता है, राइट? है ना? अरे I got a call from a university because क्लैट में देता था, क्लैट दिया था, रैंक अच्छा आया था, and they don't pay attention to what is your rank, राइट? तो अपना तो क्लैट मस्त रहेंगे, बट मेरे को फोन आया कि सर क्लैट का आपने दिया है, सर तो नहीं बोलेंगे, नाम से बोलेंगे, दे डोंट नो द एज, तो कराती नॉट सम ब्ला ब्ला यूनिवर्सिटी से बात कर रहे हैं, आपको आपके हिसाब से हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी में एडमिशन मिल जाएगा। नहीं, प्यार से 5-6 मिनट गप्पे मारे, हाँ फीस क्या, ये क्या है, वो क्या है। तो मैम आपसे 2 सवाल पूछने। नंबर 1, क्या आपने मेरे रिजल्ट में मेरा रैंक चेक किया है? एंड सेकंड, जिस इंस्टीट्यूट नहीं नहीं जिस इंस्टीट्यूट के लिए आप कॉल कर रहे हो, जरा उसके वेबसाइट पे जाके उसके विजिटिंग फैकल्टी के लिस्ट में मेरा नाम चेक कीजिए। आई एम अ विजिटिंग फैकल्टी विथ योर ओन इंस्टीट्यूट। मैं आपके कॉलेज में आके क्यों पढ़ूंगा जब मैं पढ़ाता हूँ वहां पे? I mean, all India rank तो ठीक है, bloody, and I used to take a couple of guest lectures in the same bloody place, and मेरे को like, फिर I called up the head of the department there कि सर कुछ तो सिखाओ अपने टेलीकॉलर को कि चेक कर ले कि वो भी बैठ के हंस रहा है। ले सर, आउटसोर्स करते, दिमाग के बिना कॉल करते हैं, हमारे पैसा बर्बाद है। एनीवे, Supreme Court issued guidelines for effective implementation of Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006. Shit. अगर हम चाहते कि हम शादी करें तो भी नहीं कर सकते, एटलीस्ट तुम लोग ना। तो मेरा तो टाइम चला गया है।
आपकी हो भी गई ना?
हैं? अब तो इतनी उम्र है कि मेरा बच्चा होता तो मेरे बच्चे की शादी की उम्र खत्म हो गई होती, आई मीन चालू होके खत्म। एनीवे, सब नीचे की जैसे क्या आ रहा है? So it's the Supreme Court has directed authorities focusing on child marriage prevention and protection of minors and penalizing offenders only as a last resort. Try to prevent it. Don't wait for them to commit the act and then punish them. Try to prevent it from happening is what they said. So they say don't address the symptoms, address the disease. Reason is poverty, gender inequality, lack of education, or simply cultural norms. You address these main issues, automatically once people are more educated, once they are out of poverty, nobody wants to get into child marriage. So try to eliminate the causes, not the symptoms. So marriages involving children violate the free will to have a life partner of choice. Not that adults in India have much choice in that matter either, but children ko to literally there is no choice. So one thing that they have added is that even child betrothals should be banned. Now what are betrothals?
मेरी बेटी
Type of
शादी करेंगे
एंगेजमेंट या रोका जो बोलते हैं, राइट? शादी तो करेंगे 18-21 होने के बाद, लेकिन अभी से हम प्रॉमिस कर देते हैं। इवन दैट प्रोमिसेस शुड नॉट बी देयर, बिकॉज दैट्स वन वे ऑफ अगेन गेटिंग पास्ट द लॉ कि शादी थोड़ी हुई है, सो ये रोका वोका भी नहीं हो सकता। वंस ओनली आफ्टर देयर ऑफ लीगल एज कैन यू डू एनीथिंग रिलेटेड टू स्टफ। सो ऑल द बेस्ट। क्या हो गया तेरा 18? शादी करनी है, बोल, घर पे फोन कर दो, बेटी को घोड़ी चढ़नी है या व्हाटएवर। मेरे को क्या पता क्या होता है तुम्हारे में? घोड़ी पर ब्राइड जनरली, ग्रूम, हाँ। मेरे को किसी ने नहीं चढ़ाई घोड़ी, ऐसे बोले चल के जाओ।
आजकल तो गाड़ी होती है।
हाँ,
आजकल तो गाड़ी होती
आजकल पुराने जमाने में भी होती थी। मैं गरीब आदमी, मेरे को तो ठेला भी नहीं दिया। There is an exit clause in South Indian marriages. I don't know whether you are aware of customs.
है।
Huh?
3 तलाक दो।
I'm not talking about after marriage, but before marriage there is one एक ऑप्शन दिया जाता है कि अभी भी मौका, और पंडित खुद बोलता है अभी भी मौका है बेटा, भागना तो भाग जा। लेकिन फिर it has become a ritual. Nobody understands the main significance of that's actually a mauka to run away from the.
Doesn't even know that.
Huh?
And it's like you're not running away without permission. You
अरे मेरे वहाँ तो I mean the ceremony में literally you have to go out of the mandap and then the bride's father comes and stops you. हाँ, लेकिन पंडित ने बोला कदम बाहर मंडप के नहीं जाना चाहिए, वहां तक सिर्फ 2 कदम ले, लेकिन बाहर मत रखना। मतलब इट इज सपोज टू बी ऑफिशियली आउटसाइड। बोले वो सब नाम के लिए, तू भागेगा तो डंडे पड़ेंगे, सिर्फ नाम के लिए आके वापस आ जा। हैं? काय के पैसे? किसके पैसे? तो शादी में पैसे खा पियो जाओ, शादी के खर्चे में किसको, तेरे मेरे को क्या लेने देना है? अपने को तो खाने से मतलब होता है, तो खाना खा के जो वेस्ट क्या हुआ? Okay. Yeah. इसको मारो.
That's all.
नहीं. The Prevention of Child Marriages Act was basically a replacement for the Child Marriage Restraint Act of 1929, also known as the Sharda Act to prevent child marriages. Under the PCMA, a male under 21 and female under 18 is considered a child. Like I say, in law, the definition of minor or child varies according to the law. Right? Contracts में हम generally minority till age 18 देखते हैं. Under the PCMA, if you are less than 21 as a male, you are a child. If you are less than 18 as a child, as a female, you are a child. Okay. The PCMA Amendment Bill aims to amend the minimum age of marriage for females to 21. This was recommended by the Jaya Jaitley Committee.
नहीं उसका same.
एज का 21. मेल को क्या फर्क पड़ता है, जियो मरो. फीमेल्स के लिए सब होना चाहिए, मेल्स के लिए कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए. ऐसे मेल्स कमी नहीं होते हैं सारे. हैं? तेरे फायदे की बात कर.
अपने ये बोल के अपने assume करा कि उसको शादी करनी है.
नहीं, मैं तो सिर्फ फीमेल एम्पावरमेंट की
वही
बात
general बोल रहा है.
मतलब शादी की तो बात ही नहीं है बीच में.
In general.
Okay. The problem is 23% of women and 17.7% of, I don't know why, boys between the age of 20 and 24 are married before 18 years of age. 18 साल के पहले, and it's not a small number. It's almost 1/4 of the population. 1/5 of the population is getting married at such a young age. Bad. But how old is she now? So to that, even my dadi would have been married, like, but at the age of 9.
19. 19. God, it was 19.
19 is very progressive for those times. 19, she's practically an old woman. 16, 17 is not. 16, 17 was very common, at least 40, 50 years back. 16, 17 was not considered very old.
My grandson was also 7. My grandpa was 17. My grandmother was 18.
So at that age, so 16, 17 में तो हो जाता था. मैं अपने माँ बाप को वास्ता देता था, मेरे को बुढ़ा बना दिया तुमने 20-21 साल में. 16 साल में तो दादा की शादी हो गई थी. बोले बहुत जल्दी है तेरे को मिलन. Okay. And over half the girls and women who are married in childhood are in specifically 5 states. UP, Bihar, West Bengal, Maharashtra and MP.
Not in Rajasthan.
Surprisingly not Rajasthan. Rajasthan is stereotyped for child marriages. बालिका वधू वहीं पे सेट था पूरा.
Rajasthan is like 10 or something. Rajasthan is 10 to 11.
Like anybody talks about Rajasthan, you start imagining camels and deserts. Some of the greenest places I've seen is in Rajasthan.
The city of lakes from India is in
I know that is the irony of life.
क्या देखो.
चलो आगे बढ़े. क्या वो सीरियस में कहाँ घुस गई है जनता. The world's richest city, not Ahmedabad.
सब बड़ा.
Vegas.
चलो तेल बेच के पैसा.
Vegas.
So world's richest city is Abu Dhabi. Okay. Give me the name of Indian Navy's multi-purpose vessel launched as the first ship under a 2-vessel project constructed by L&T Shipyard. Towing ship, launching, recovering targets. An INS ship would not be a multi-purpose vehicle. It would be mostly a warship or something like that. This may or may not be an INS. L&T is Larsen & Toubro. It's a company.
That.
But the name of this multi-purpose vehicle is Samarthak. A person who agrees. Samarthan जो देता है, समर्थक. A person who helps. So Indian Navy's MPV, multi-purpose vehicle is or multi-purpose vessel is Samarthak, built by L&T shipyard. Done. Okay. Which government announced that the State Skills Development University will be renamed as the Padma Vibhushan Ratan Tata Skills University?
Maharashtra.
Maharashtra.
One zero five.
105.
Who has been appointed as the chairman of Tata
Noel-
Trust
Noel
with 66% ownership of Tata Sons?
Noel
Tata
Tata.
Trust has that. Noel Tata.
Yes, let go one.
Yeah, because the Tatas have a lot of rules where they try to prevent control in a limited number of hands. They try to spread it as much as possible.
Noel Tata is Ratan Tata's half brother, right?
His Ratan Tata's stepmother is still alive, if I'm not mistaken.
Reusable.
SpaceX made headlines by successfully catching its Dash booster. I want a name.
Oh.
The name of the booster on its first stage rocket, and that
I
video
know
became
that,
very famous.
though,
Chopsticks की तरह पकड़ के.
So,
I mean, imagine इतनी speed में इतना भारी space से, and so precisely they are able to land it there. Amazing engineering. But the name of the booster was the Starship booster.
सर आप लोग देखा ये हम शेयर में उसकी नोटबुक से ही सब करते हैं
Elon Musk was.
uh,
Okay. Which postal circle paid tribute to Ratan Tata's legacy by releasing a special cover celebrating his contributions to industry, philanthropy, and national development? So basically a state. Basically a state. Huh? No. Bihar.
एक के सारे स्टेट बोर्ड
Because Bihar, Jharkhand together and the entire Jamshedpur and other things is close to that region, right? So a lot of contribution in infrastructure in those places is by the Tata thing.
टाटा फोर
Okay. DigiLocker has integrated with which app to simplify access to various government services? And this is an app which I recommend most of you would get, or 12th standard के बाद तो तुम्हारे results आधे टाइम इस ऐप पे आते हैं. कोविड के टाइम पे भी became very,
Aadhaar?
even Aadhaar is part of this, the overall app. हाँ?
इतना बड़ा डैश है कुछ तो बड़ा होगा
नहीं छोटा सा ही होगा.
So this is the
Oh.
Umang app, the unified mobile application for new age governance. If you already do not have the Umang app, then I would highly recommend. You can store your driving license, PAN, lot of government issued copies you can keep, and you can actually show it as an official thing. You don't need to carry the physical copy. So if you don't have DigiLocker or Umang, highly recommended you just download it.
WhatsApp पे डिजिलॉकर को मैसेज करोगे
हाँ.
and it will give you
And you can actually generate it on. So it's actually good to have the Umang app with you, which reminds me I should see whether I have actually updated my Umang app. Okay. Which countries bid for a seat on UNHRC? Okay. Rafael Nadal, one of the greatest tennis players, is from which country? Spain. किसी को और को तो मौका दो जीतने का, खुद ही जीतते रहता है सब कुछ. हाँ तो बुढ़े जाएंगे तभी जवान आएंगे ना. पर मैं ओके तो मैं बोलता यार बोरिस बेकर और आंद्रे अगासी क्यों चले गए, मार्टिना नवरात्रिलोवा और स्टेफी ग्राफ क्यों चली गई, आ जाते आजकल के राफेल नडाल ने, जोकोविच ने, कोई काम धंधा नहीं है. अगासी बियॉन बोर्ग उससे भी पहले जाऊंगा. आर्थर नाम भी नहीं सुना होगा तुमने.
ग्रैंड स्लैम का ही फाउंड आउट नॉट ऑल फोर साथ में ऑल फोर इज नॉट अ ग्रैंड स्लैम ईच
Oh, कितने बार discuss?
We have completed it that it's a normal, it's a corruption by you guys. The original Grand Slam is supposed to be all four. Varna, it's a slam and not a Grand Slam. But no discussions there. 30th National Games will be held where?
I think states
State. National Games तो state ही होगा ना. India बोलोगे. अंदर. कई बार होता है.
बिहार
दिल्ली
तो वाव क्या है उसमें, किसी ना किसी स्टेट में तो होना ही है. Okay. The Mace Observatory, inaugurated by Department of Atomic Energy, is situated where? It is Asia's largest and world's highest telescope. Ladakh. By the way, what is BARC?
Bar.
So company. Oh, we organize.
भारतीय
British.
This is the Bhabha Atomic Research Center, as in Homi Bhabha, one of the fathers of Indian space, Indian nuclear programs. Mumbai-based, Maharashtra-based, BARC. Trombay, mein, I think, is the headquarters. Okay. Which city has been chosen to host the World Pickleball Championship Series?
Ahmedabad.
No,
Mumbai.
Mumbai.
Ahmedabad had been chosen to.
No.
हाँ, तो हर साल चेंज होते रहता है ना, हर बार थोड़ी नहीं की जगह पे खेल रहा है। अभी का मुंबई है, अब आगे मुंबई होने वाला है ना, पता है। The first time I saw this, I was अचार के साथ क्यों खेल रहे हैं? अब पता है मेरे को, लेकिन पहली बार कोई पिकल बॉल बोलेगा तो यही लगेगा ना, अचार के गोले। I prefer pani puris. Okay, which Indian gymnast has retired after dedicating 25 years?
Deepa
Karmakar. Deepa Karmakar.
So she got a perfect 10.
She performed something called the Produnova, which is basically one of the most difficult moves in gymnastics. One of the banned, almost banned type of moves. Very famous for that.
Because it could go wrong.
It could go very seriously wrong. Okay. So Deepa Karmakar, Indian gymnast, is retired. And retiring, don't think of her as being like 40-50 saal. She might barely be in the late 20s or early 30s. Because they start so young. Okay. Trees Initiative, which is established to assess smallholder farmers in which region, and think global. It focuses on creating forest gardens. It's actually sub-Saharan Africa. Peru is South Africa, South America. Peru is South America.
Egypt.
Banks of the river Nile. Why would they name a country after a fruit? Peru is a fruit, right? Jamphod. Guava. Okay. Union Minister Kiren Rijiju, he announced what for the 75th anniversary of Indian Constitution on November 26.
Wait, the second,
It is always the
Statue of
Samvidhan
Jesus.
Day. No. For the 75th anniversary, it's the Constitution Glorification Campaign.
What is that?
Everybody should know.
A campaign to glorify the Constitution, as the name itself suggests.
Never mind.
पैसा बर्बाद।
Okay.
Okay. When you become
The Tadoba Andhari Tiger Reserve is where? If you are good with names, you'll guess this one.
महाराष्ट्र।
Tadoba is a very typical Maharashtrian name. So Tadoba has to be Maharashtra.
It's
Adhari or Andheri.
It's in the Chandrapur district. As if you know the district. Chandrapur, Andhra Pradesh में नहीं ऐसा कैसे पता? यशवंतपुर.
Andhra Pradesh.
Andhra Pradesh में कर्नाटका में यशवंतपुर. Anyway, Han Kang, who won the
South Korea.
Yeah.
South
Which
Korea.
one?
South Korea.
because someone from North Korea is
नहीं.
Of course not.
of course not नहीं बोल सकते, but the possibility is low.
North Korea had.
Okay. Which country recently launched over 180 ballistic missiles targeting Israel's air defenses?
Never mind.
सिर्फ word भूल गए.
Okay.
Admitted.
Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog launched the first state chapter of Women Entrepreneurship Platform in Telangana. Okay. United Kingdom handed over the sovereignty of Chagos Islands to which country? No, one of our favorite countries.
Russia.
Thailand.
Israel.
फेवरेट कंट्रीज बोल
तो Thailand was a good guess, but but I should say favorite for similar reasons as Thailand.
Oh.
Don't think dirty. Don't think dirty. Think general.
Bali.
Mauritius. Indians love going to Mauritius for vacation and stuff, right? I used to think Mauritius Sri Lanka के बाजू में है.
इंडियन से
फिर पता चला कहाँ पे है.
इंडियन से भरे पड़े हैं.
A lot of people.
और हाँ? I think Africa side है कुछ. If I'm not mistaken again, because Mauritius मेरे को कभी भी strike नहीं हुआ कहाँ पे है map पे. इत्तू सा map पे तो दिखता भी नहीं है. Okay. Anita Roy secured a gold medal at the Commonwealth International Classic Bench Press competition. But what is the specific achievement for Anita Roy to be
Indian
remembered?
woman.
No.
With disability.
First woman whose name starts with A.
Third.
First woman whose name starts with A.
Who won this one?
First, second, third.
First transgender.
No.
Second.
No.
Woman.
Wait, you do it for your tribes.
She is the first IPS officer to win this. I thought beauty with brains balloon, but beauty is neither for bench pressing nor for being an IPS. So brains with bronze would work. Brains and bronze would work. But I was thinking, and then we suddenly realized she's also the winner of Miss something something pageant. फिर तो हद हो गई.
अरे यार.
Beauty with brains with bronze.
Okay. Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Postgraduate Medical Education and Research, JIPMER, has introduced what toll-free helpline to provide counseling for individuals experiencing. So I'll get the number after class, better store it. The way you guys are, half the guys seem to require it. But the name of the stress helpline for all you snowflakes. Huh? Not a bad guess, but no.
Why is it in red?
Mental distress. I've red flagged it. I've red flagged it. Highlighted. This is known as telemanas.
Wow. So guessable.
Yeah. It is the mental health assistant and networking across states, MANAS. Okay. Recently, Elon Musk's SpaceX used a pair of giant robotic arms to grab the Starship booster. What was the name of the arms?
Chopsticks.
But considering Elon Musk, कोई तो funny name होगा ही होगा.
उसके बेटे का नाम है उसको
X,
कैसे
Y,
कैसे-
Don't even ask me to pronounce that.
Rakshu.
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल अंग्रेजी के 26 लेटरों में से कई लेटर नहीं है उसमें.
It's Twitter का लोगो then AE एक जय
ओमा शीट तो भर ही नहीं सकता है, वो कैरेक्टर्स है ही नहीं. मैं बोला मेरे को कंसल्ट कर लेता है यार, मैं बता देता है बेटा 12th में आएगा उसके बाद जेडब्ल्यू नीट तू दिलाने के लिए बैठेगा टिपिकली, तो क्या करेगा तू. ओमा शीट नहीं भर.
सर
ओमा शीट भरना कोई मेरे से जाने द लेंथ ऑफ माय नेम.
सर व्हाट्स योर फुल
Don't even ask. Anyway, SpaceX, the arms were known as Mechazilla.
बैठ जाता है.
If I want to, my official name तो आराम से बैठ जाता है. But what is supposed to be अगर मेरे माँ बाप were not very fond of me as a kid and put my entire supposed name on the certificate, तो certificate में additional supplementary copy मांगनी पड़ती.
Sir, US में do they provide like multiple genders in the mark sheet?
I have absolutely no idea and I don't care. Okay. Who was sworn in as the Chief Minister of Haryana?
Having second thoughts.
Is a decent guess. नायब सिंह सैनी. नायब सिंह सैनी. नायाब क्या होता है? नायब सिंह सैनी. Okay. Which assembly passed a resolution urging central government to withdraw the 2024 Waqf Amendment Bill?
Bangladesh.
Waqf. Hell would we care for another country? अपनी country में बोलो. State. Kerala. Okay. NASA's Europa Clipper mission is going to explore icy moon Europa. Europa is the moon for what?
Jupiter.
Titan, Saturn.
Okay. Prominent leader of the Jammu Kashmir National Conference, for people who are struggling with the name of the party.
Omar.
So, Omar Abdullah. And the Abdullah family has been in JNK for like donkey's years now. Okay. You don't know the expression a very long time it's called donkey's years. A state-owned company, which state-owned company has secured a significant contract worth 866.87 crore rupees from the Integral Coach Factory to design, manufacture and commission India's first indigenous or home-built bullet trains. So this is the BEML. Bharat Earth Movers Limited. Bharat Electricals Limited. Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited is BHEL, BHEL. BML is Bharat Earth Movers Limited.
That's all. That's all.
नहीं ऐसा 29 पे जाके that's all करूंगा life में कभी. Which state has set its sights on becoming the gaming and animation hub of Asia?
Karnataka.
Bangalore, Karnataka.
Yeah.
Science का क्या हो गया?
On Maharishi Valmiki Jayanti, which state's chief minister, and I need the name of both, declared all residential schools in the state would be renamed Maharishi Valmiki Residential Schools? No,
Delhi.
no,
Rajasthan.
no, no,
Himachal Pradesh.
no,
Mizoram.
no, no,
उत्तराखंड,
no, no.
राजस्थान,
I said Rajasthan.
So अभी तो सीएम का नाम बता दो.
नहीं.
सीएम ऑफ कर्नाटका
नहीं.
बहुत बड़ा हाँ बहुत बड़ा।
सिद्धरामैया. Okay, next one, controversial. Which state's Madrasa Education Board has proposed making Sanskrit a compulsory subject? Uttarakhand. Madrasas में संस्कृत compulsory. Imagine the thing. Okay. Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud has recommended whom to be the 51st CJI? Justice Sanjeev Khanna. Sanjeev Kumar. Who, in collaboration with
Mehta.
and Petra Archaeological City, is located in which country?
Egypt.
Spain. Petra. Greece.
Jordan. Jordan.
Jordan.
जॉल,
Scarface.
I was gonna guess. Dirty Dance. Never mind.
It's actually a good movie. Dirty Dancing. Unlike the name, Dirty Dancing is actually a good movie.
Blue.
Looks Marilyn Monroe-esque, but I don't think it's Marilyn. La Dolce Vita.
Who कौन सी movie जिसमें Michael Corleone and Sonny Corleone? The Godfather.
Pulp Fiction.
दो बार
There's a reason we don't know.
I hate
Audrey Hepburn.
तो दिख रही है.
पूछ ले कितनों को Audrey Hepburn पता है. one of the names in the title is a very famous jewelry brand.
Tiffany.
I'm happy you know the brand. So this is breakfast at Tiffany's.
Bubbles.
Huh? How many of you know Tiffany's is a famous jewelry brand? Look around. Only half.
Sir, almost सब लोग हैं. 2-3 बच्चों. Oh, it's Rocky.
One second.
Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs.
It is Silence of the
वो actor है.
The last line of the movie is one of the iconic dialogues of the century.
बोलो.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. It's based on a book, Civil War times. Red Butler, Scarlett O'Hara.
ठीक है टैप कर दो.
This is Gone with the Wind. चांस ही नहीं है मूवी का भी नाम नहीं सुना होगा. This is a Clockwork Orange. नहीं सुना होगा. No idea, but one of the top 100 movies of all times.
Shadows.
Chaplin.
Exorcism.
The Exorcist.
The Exorcist में ये है.
हाँ.
It is one of the horror movies. Life में कभी ना watch करो. Sadly, I've read the book.
Aladdin. नहीं.
पे Star Wars है. दिख रहा है उसपे. Darth Vader दिख रहा है. Darth Vader दिख रहा है.
अरे मेरे को
Sadly, James Earl Jones.
चलो अब फूटेंगे. क्या चीज? हाँ